We good? With it being after 7 o'clock, call the April 25th meeting to order. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes I couldn't review because I wasn't here. I don't know if they got reviewed.
Yes, I reviewed.
Deb did it. Thank you, Deb. So motion to approve the minutes for April 11th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. We have several continuances today, so we'll get rid of those. We have 242-1748, 500 Boxford Street, request to continue to May 9th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. 242-1721, 562 Boxford Street, request to continue to 5/9/2018.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. And then we have an enforcement order on 63 Crossbow Lane, request to continue to 5/9.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. In general business, we have an airport application, 242-1347, request to continue to 5/9.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. 242-1642, the Lawrence Airport also requests to continue to May 9th.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. And 242-1713, Vest Way, request to continue to 5/23.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. First order of business is NACC number 209-175 Sandra Lane.
Showing the areas. I did go to the site, we did put up some wetland flags, and I did measure off, everything is outside of the 25-foot no disturb zone, but I'll let our homeowner present her application to you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Messier. I'm a resident at 175 Sandra Lane. We're seeking to take down a couple of trees. They're 5 trees outside of this do not disturb zone. They've been identified by both Mayor and Ms. Hughes came over and looked, and they're all dying or end of life. We had a major tree damage this winter with the storms, with a dead tree closer to the end of the driveway, and we're just concerned as to what's next. And this one falls in our backyard, so the damage would be straight to the house and also in the area where the children play. And there's also significant shredding of big limbs that's been happening in the past few years. So we're concerned about that. We contacted Mayor. Mayor came out and looked at it. They can remove it all by crane to stop damage to the wetlands area behind us. There is a bit of a stream behind our house. It seems to be a man-made stream. We've heard that it's from an old fishing hole that was made many years ago. I don't know that to be true, but that's what I believe. And so we're seeking to remove those trees. We'll keep the remainder of the trees in place and cause as little disturbance as we can to the area.
Thank you. Joe?
There's quite a few saplings in the understory, so there will be, tree cover coming up. There's a few, the tree closest to you is an ash, and it's clearly got some kind of damage, whether it's from beetles or other. One of them is a large white pine, and there's already some maples that have broken limbs, so I think the request is justified. It is just outside the 25-foot. So there were some that I told them I could approve administratively as being, diseased or dying, but there are some that are alive as well, so hence the request to you.
Joe?
So a homeowner application is very thorough. Yeah, pretty darn good, I appreciate that. And I agree with Jennifer's assessment, and I think as those saplings mature, you'll probably come back to thank her.
Yes.
For a little bit of shade.
Yes, definitely.
So I understand what you're proposing, no problem with it.
No questions.
If you saw, according to Jen's recommendation, she'd like a pre-construction meeting so you could verify what trees are going to be cut, and then a post-construction inspection just to make sure you cut the trees you were supposed to.
Of course,
That's the only questions that I.
will do.
Okay, very nice presentation.
Thank you.
Doug?
No questions.
All right,
Motion?
great.
I move that we consider this project to fall under the small project designation, letter L.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Not unanimous. You're all set. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, there's
There's
one
two-
more thing. So I
there's two
wanna-
things.
Since we have considered it an L, I will move that we approve the project as proposed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And just on amendment that, as proposed, including
Pre and post.
maintaining saplings with pre and post.
Right.
As amended.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Not unanimous. Sorry, you're all set now.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Next order of business is an RDA for 35 Dale Street.
Hi, hello, Jay Henshaw from Gibraltar Pools regarding 35 Dale. What we're proposing to do is we want to install an above-ground pool inside the 100, outside the 50-foot. There is a grade. Our intention is to actually to cut into the grade back against the structure of the pool, and then regrade following the natural grade that's already there on the basically what I'd refer to, I guess, on the inside edge of the pool, inside the buffer zone. So we'd be following the natural grade when we regrade, go back. So we're not going to, the plan here is not to really change too much, except to take a footprint of 16 by 28 and place it into the grade. There would be, we are requesting to do some tree removal.
So I did go out
Okay.
and review the wetland line. There's an intermittent stream. The wetland was flagged appropriately. There is a fence out there which wasn't approved. It is pretty close to the 25-foot no disturb, so it may be something you're fine with approving after the fact in this proposal. They do propose to remove all of the trees in the backyard inside that fence, which again is outside the 25-foot no disturb zone. But there is a decent slope out there. This is watershed. I think leaving some of the small saplings might be a good idea. This is also before planning for a watershed special permit, so I had discussed with the applicant that they might want to leave it open just because planning will be doing their review and hasn't met yet. They have filed, but there may be some changes as a result of that. My only other question, and you said it verbally, but I don't have anything in writing, that it will be a cartridge-style,
Oh, yeah.
non-backwashing filter.
I didn't give you a copy of the, I'm sorry, I thought I gave you a set of the diagram on the filtration system. I'll get that
I didn't have
over
it
to
in
you.
the file, but you might have sent it in the
I might have
email.
gave it to somebody else.
Okay, so that'd be good to have that documentation.
Seems pretty straightforward. The earth-moving equipment that you're gonna use, is probably a Bobcat, it's not a,
You know, just because of the grade, a lot of this we'll probably do by hand.
Okay.
The biggest machine we'll
So
bring
it's a
in there is the
minimum
Bobcat.
grading.
Yeah, it's not that much. We'll probably be out overall about 28 inches tops in one
Oh.
corner.
I'm all set. I was curious about access, but it seems to be a non-issue. All set.
Any waivers requested?
No, the pool does overhang the 50-foot slightly, but it's the cantilever decking around the pool, nothing touches the ground.
All set, thank you.
I have no problem with the application. Historically, we don't approve projects until they've cleared the other boards, because planning board might tell you you can't cut the trees, or you
Exactly.
can't, so this project could change tremendously. So if we approve the project where it is, and then planning turns around and says, we don't want it there, then we're in a pickle.
Yeah.
I
And you'll be in a
understand that, yeah.
pickle, because you'd have to reapply. So what we're gonna do is we would wait till planning approved the project, and then I don't see any issue with it.
Well, or wait until they've
And we'll
sort of
wait.
given it their blessing and said, they plan to write a decision or something like that.
Right, so she'll get the go-ahead in the office, and then we'll put you on the agenda to continue for the next meeting,
Okay.
and then I don't see
They
any
don't need to
problem.
be here.
You don't even have to be
Unless
here.
planning board changed something.
Right,
then
unless the
you're more than
planning board
welcome.
changes something tremendously.
Yeah.
But I don't see any issues. Yep.
No questions.
Doug? Okay, motion to continue?
Would we, just for conditions, so if he isn't back, what we would be considering, I would guess, would be pre and post construction, keeping the saplings, I guess. I think you said the homeowners would be fine with that. And I would suggest wetland markers on the fence, if the fence is gonna stay at the 25.
And make sure they condition the cartridge filter.
Cartridge style, but you're gonna get me that for the
Yeah, I
file
need
too, so,
Okay.
okay. Okay, so, I'm sorry.
Do we have any butters here for the pool? No. Okay, motion to continue to, May 9th?
May 9th.
Right.
May 9th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I know. Next one is a notice of intent, 242-1732 Pleasant Street, Stevens Pond.
Oh, okay, great.
Hi all. I don't know how many of you were here for the previous order for Stevens Pond, but
We were
okay.
here
Well,
when they built Stevens Pond.
perfect. Even better. We are just looking to refile. I actually realized that we did not file for this certificate of compliance yet. That was supposed to also come in with the new notice of intent. But basically, just because of the town's bylaw of having a max of 5 years on the order of conditions, we're back just to refile, basically for the same thing. We've added a few new herbicides into the mix, just in the event that anything changes in the next 5 years. Just so you guys are well aware of our intentions and anything that the town may want to do to alleviate nuisance plant and algae growth. But for the most part, we are trying to do the exact same thing we've been doing for the last 5 years.
Questions, Joe?
I'm really just curious as far as benchmarking and measurement of performance. How effective has this been? I know it's a very difficult undertaking.
So I guess there's two different aspects. We've been managing nuisance algae blooms there, as well as invasive aquatic plants. So from an aquatic plant standpoint, it's been pretty good. A few years ago, they conducted a whole basin sonar or fluoridone treatment to manage the fanwort, and I was out in last spring. I have not yet gone out there this year because with the colder weather, plant growth hasn't really been prevalent yet, but there was no fanwort last summer that any of us saw. As for the algae, we don't think that they've had any blooms recently. Every year we've been doing a low-dose aluminum sulfate. I guess it's not really a treatment, it's more of an application. And the alum ultimately binds with the available phosphorus within the water, which is what causes the algae blooms ultimately. And as far as we know, it's been working great. That we haven't had any complaints from DPW or the town on any major algae blooms that we're aware of.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Last time this was in front of us, I believe, but I'm not 100%, I believe we asked for some baseline water quality testing to be done. Do you have those results, that baseline, and do you show any change over the 5-year period from the baseline?
We may. Admittedly, I am new to kind of the northeast projects in our office as of the beginning of last year. So I could definitely look and see what we have in our files and send that over. That's not a problem.
If you have it, and if not, could you just get a water quality sample prior to the start of any?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that they didn't have their COC in, that kind of slipped my mind, so
Yeah.
they'll need to do that.
Okay,
For
all right.
the COCs, when do you anticipate having the COC?
Ideally, I could send it to you
Next
for the
meeting?
next meeting, yeah. I can grab some stuff when I'm kind of in the area between now and then.
And that's when we'll be issuing this order?
Oh,
Would be at the
perfect.
next meeting, so that should work out well.
Yeah, perfect.
But without the certificate of compliance, we couldn't issue this.
We shouldn't be, because we require
Right. I just
everybody
wanna-
else to have those
Just want to
COCs
state
in.
clearly the importance of
Right,
following through.
getting
Right,
that
and
COC.
we're fine with that because the current order actually expires the day before the next meeting, and we don't foresee any like actual treatment or physical management tasks before then, other than just a survey and stuff, and obviously we don't necessarily need an order to do that. So that all works perfectly.
So if it's first week in May and the beach opens on June 15th, there's enough of a window for you to get in and...
Right, so yeah,
Yeah,
last year we did the alum treatment the Thursday before the beach opened, because we had not been alerted as to the date that the beach was opening, so it was not previously scheduled in time, and went through this whole kind of craze with the town, but it got in time. And again, like last year, we're not really foreseeing a treatment, but that being said, if I go out there to collect the water samples for this, that does still give us enough of a window to treat.
More questions,
I don't, thank you. That was
Yeah, no problem.
Jen, you haven't gotten the monitoring report?
That's what it just was handed
Oh, okay.
to us.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess I will apologize on behalf of the town, I guess. There's just really kind of lack of communication from the town to us last year, once we did that alum treatment. And at that point, it was late September, so it didn't really make sense to do any more tasks or anything. So that's why last year's report is unfortunately the length of that it is.
Okay. And have there been any adverse effects to the pond itself from the treatments?
Not that we are aware of. Normally, those adverse effects are seen kind of in kind of impacts to other plants within the water, native plants, that kind of thing, or fish, and we haven't seen any fish kills or impacts to the native plants.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Doug? No question.
Motion, we need to continue, Jen?
Right, we'll close an issue at the next meeting when we
Yeah.
have the COC request.
Perfect, that's fine. Do you guys want me back for that meeting, or is sending you the monitoring report with like a
I
little?
would send the reports, and if I have any concerns about what's in there from the water quality standpoint, I would let you know and have
Okay.
it you presented to them, but if not, I'm
Well,
assuming.
Can I just say, if for some reason the water quality test results are not there, I'd ask that you come back.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Motion to continue? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Next one is
Do
242.
you have did you send us your butter notification? Did you give me? I have it. Oh, okay, great. You can actually give it to Meryl, she'll take it for you.
242, no DEP number yet. Did you get that yet, Maureen?
Not yet.
Okay. 980 Forest Street.
Okay, so I'm just handing out colored plans and also just an landscape architect drew up what the proposal is, it's a little bit clearer to see. So you should have some photos in your packets as well. Some photos that I took out there. These two, this is two-sided. There is a prior order of conditions on this property. This is the plan from that condition that was done.
Lot of paper.
Okay.
Maureen, let me just get the.
Oh, sure.
Paper everywhere. So I did review the wetland delineation out here, and I had some concerns, which I forwarded to Maureen. She's in receipt of those. And there is an issue of a violation which we need to address, which some of the photos in front of you will address, but I think we'll start with the presentation of the.
Sure.
And then we can discuss that.
Good evening, Maureen Harold, Norse Environmental Services, here on behalf of the applicant. We filed a notice of intent with the commission to raise an existing pool, deck, and wall on the property. The proposal in front of you tonight is the proposal for a lap pool, stone patio areas, a shed, a proposed 14 by 23-foot wide deck, utilities, planting beds, and a raised garden bed. At the time of the filing, we met the 25-foot no disturb and the 50-foot no structure. But as Jen has mentioned, there is some violation issues on the property that she brought to my attention this week, and I guess you can elaborate on those, Jen.
So the prior filing was for a garage addition. Subsequent to that, a pool was constructed. That is not the current owner's issue. That was done by a prior owner, and this owner has owned it for more than 3 years. So the pool really isn't of concern, but it was added literally the year you granted this project as a certificate of compliance, which I found kind of interesting, but not by this owner. The 2017 aerials do show the fence that is on that plan, as well as a 25-foot no disturb zone behind it. Neither of those exists anymore. The fence is gone, as is the vegetation in the 25-foot no disturb zone, except for some very large trees right at the edge of the wetland. So that is now all lawn, new lawn, which is sort of, you can tell it's new. It's lightly established, but it is now lawn, and the photos represent that. So clearly that will need to be restored. I think should be dealt with separate from the filing, because obviously that would not have been permitted.
So obviously, I just wanted to introduce the project to the commission tonight. We need to come back to the commission. We need to revegetate the 25-foot no disturbs with the appropriate plantings. Jen had mentioned she had concerns about wetland flags 3B to 5B, so we need to work out those concerns and then make any appropriate adjustments to the plan if the wetland line does get relocated. But I can answer any questions the commission may have.
I mean, until we have a line, we really don't have anything definitive we can act on, so this is just an overview, and I appreciate you saying that. I think it's also fair game, though, that if there's an expectation by this board for any sort of restoration or any sort of action on the former deviations from the prior owner or the current owner, that we address those in this updated plan. Was that your intention?
No, I think the violation should be dealt with separately, because it isn't something you're going to permit. The old pool is going to go away, so I don't think that needs to be anybody's concern anymore. The old pool would be demolished. It won't be in existence. There's a new deck proposed. The old deck that was associated with the pool would no longer be part
Correct.
of the filing.
Yes.
So I don't think that aspect of it needs to be addressed. I do think an enforcement order should be issued for restoration of the 25-foot no disturb zone.
Okay.
And
But do you find that there's a need to show that on this plan as well?
I mean, they could choose to do it that way. It would address the violation, so they could use the same plan to address the violation
And then our enforcement order could refer to that plan.
Correct.
And then it's memorialized in both.
Right, yep.
So I think that's the guidance I'm trying to give, is that
Okay.
if they're
I see
going
what
back
you're
to make changes to the plan, that we probably want to solidify those things that we want shown on the plan.
And I think,
including
like
the
the
restoration.
prior fence, I don't know what the proposal is for fencing of any kind, but maybe some sort of monumentation should go back where the old fence was.
Okay.
Whether it's fencing for this new project or something else they'd rather do, a wall or whatever, can leave that up to you.
I have no other questions.
I have no questions at this time. It sounds like you're working with the applicant's representative to come up with a restoration plan, so I'll withhold any questions at this time.
I mean, I think the project itself, if it can stay outside of the 50-foot no-build zone, is approvable. There's nothing about the project that concerned me
No,
personally.
you're looking for restoration too, is what I understand, so.
Yeah,
I'll-
so the pitch, the line goes right to the
Yeah, so
front side.
I'll hold back until we
Okay.
have. Okay. Thank you, Mr.
I just have a question in the fact that I met with Jen earlier today, and we discussed the lawn going right to the wetland and just dropping off. This is the application, correct? And then you were gonna make them move the flags. Does that affect the project as we see it
It will by
now?
a couple feet. The flags were kind of at the toe of that slope. It didn't really look like any fill material had been brought in. I don't know,
I don't
I don't know what
think
it looked
so.
like before, so I can't talk about it now. Other than that, I would put because that slope down is all, when I augured it, it was just pure muck. So I would put the flags at the top of the slope and not the bottom. It's not a huge slope. If you look at those photos, it's a couple, maybe 5 feet. But that, they're pretty close on this plan, so they may have to do a little adjusting to the plan if those flags are moved that 5 to 7 feet.
Okay.
You can see the edge of lawn on the plan
Oh, yeah.
between flags
It's
3
in the
and,
25.
yeah. So that would need to come up a little bit.
Okay, so that, all those issues will be addressed with Jen. Okay, thank you. Deb?
No questions.
Doug, I'm sorry. Motion?
So I think,
Continue?
I don't know if there's a butters who
Oh, I'm
have
sorry, are there
any.
any butters to this project? Could you please come up here and state your name?
If you want to, if you have anything to say, you don't have to say anything. If you do want to say something, though, you need to come up.
No, I don't have anything with regard to the project itself. I guess I can go somewhere else and identify where
Just-
our land adjoins this piece of property?
Sure, just talk to the,
You
have to go to the microphone.
If you'd be kind enough to just go to the
Go to the
podium,
podium.
then you'll be part of the permanent record.
State your
We would
name and your
appreciate that.
address.
Yep, it's on, no
It's
question.
on.
It's John Longale, 926 Forest Street, in North Andover, obviously. I was just curious as where I can go to find out where I happen to be in a butter to this property. I see the layout, but I have no idea where.
So an abutter in North Andover is anyone within 300 feet of the property.
Oh, so
So
it
you may
doesn't.
not be a direct abutter, but you're still considered an abutter.
Okay, well, that answers that question then. How do I go check that? Not that it's,
You'd have to go to the assessor's office,
Yeah.
which is downstairs,
yes,
and they'd show you
Well,
a map.
Pl-
What's the map out there that we can give them the number?
The NOI may have the,
I have the abutters list here.
Oh, there it is. There.
Sorry, sir, what was
John Longale, 926. Beverly May Longale.
Okay, so you're on the list, so you got notified.
so I
know
don't,
we got notified.
I mean, this
That's
is
why I'm
the,
here.
Oh, beautiful, look at that, there it is.
And
so
there's your-
here is Forest Street. I'm just trying to, I don't know if you know which lot you are. These are,
The butters list would have the map and lot number,
do you
right?
have the lot numbers of this one and?
So knowing that you're a statutory abutter, what would you like to tell us?
Beverly May,
Not a thing, based
Nothing.
on what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
map
No interest
16.
on my part. Looks
Okay.
like you have
What,
ample-
what map and lot are they?
Lot 16, same map, lot 16. So you have a fairly large parcel, this is your parcel here?
Yes.
And the property's further down Forest Street. This is the site here.
So we don't even abut to it then, is what you're telling me?
No, you're not a direct abutter, but you're within the 300
Yeah,
feet.
I got you. That was my question.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Any other abutters want to be heard? No others answer, Mr. Chairman.
So I would recommend that you vote to issue an enforcement order requiring a restoration plan be submitted by, what meeting do you want to continue to?
I'd like to get on the next meeting. if
Okay,
possible.
so to be submitted by the 5/9 meeting would be the recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Thank you.
I beat that one.
Did we continue this? to-
Yeah, oh, no, now we would vote to
Now
continue
you
to
can vote.
5/9.
Continue.
So I move that we continue to May 9th.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous.
All right.
Okay. Next one is 242-1733, 48 Regency Place.
So the Order of conditions for Regency Place is set to expire the day before your next meeting. It has received its 3-year order and its 2 one-year extensions. So it's kind of in the position of other projects like that where we've done similar things. The most recent being Mollytown and Old Salem Village, where they weren't able to get any more renewals, extensions. So this lot is the first one in on the right. The house is largely outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. When it was proposed under the last order, it did not have a pool. One has been added to this plan. So this lot is not currently being worked, but it will need to be developed at some time, and this would give them 3 years to develop this lot. I just have a few concerns. I don't know the existing limit of clearing on this lot. I do think the COC plan and this plan should have that on it, because this erosion control line is different than what was originally permitted. And I'm
Okay.
not saying it's not permittable, it is, it's outside of the 25-foot no disturb. I just think monumentation wasn't required on some of these lots because they weren't disturbing up to the 25, and we may want to see that now if they are disturbing up to the 25. It was at the limited disturbance on the prior plan was at the 50.
I see,
So,
okay.
and we just required markers, but if they're gonna clear more of the lot, the commission may want a permanent boundary back there.
Okay.
So, that was one concern. The second was, again, even though it's outside of the 100, there's no walkways, decks, patios. I just wanna make sure, because we had issues with retaining walls on another lot on this subdivision. I mean, largely the subdivision's gone great, there haven't been any concerns, no violations, nothing. Everything's flagged, we get our monitoring reports, there aren't any concerns. I just want to make sure that what gets refiled has as much detail as what you originally approved, and just a little bit of that detail is missing. So, that's it.
So obviously, we need to add these details to the plan. I can open it up to the commission if you have any questions, but ultimately, I'll want a continuance to the next hearing, so we can
Sure.
add these details.
No, I remember when the subdivision came through, and we did go through an awful lot of effort, so I think if the information can be completely consistent, it's just gonna make the record crystal clear.
I think
to-
it
to
kind of
us
came
and
up
the homeowner.
right quick that this was expiring and they weren't ready because they couldn't renew it. So now all of a sudden they're working and we need to get this re-permitted. So I don't.
Understood.
I think it's all very doable.
Well said. No questions.
I met with Jen today, and we discussed this project, the little subdivision at length. The first question was on the set of plans that we looked at, there was no houses on them, even though they're out of the 100.
Oh, that's the COC, not this application.
Oh, this is a different one?
This is just for this lot. We're not, the
Which lot are we
COC's
looking at, 6 or 8?
This
Six.
is number 6.
Okay, all right. That says 8 there, right? I know my eyes are
Two
failing.
different, yeah, that plan's the next
Yeah.
agenda item.
6.
Right.
As you come into the subdivision. It's
Okay.
the first one on the right, past the basin.
Okay,
It already has a number, that's why it's called 48 Regency Place, but in the subdivision plan, this was lot 6.
okay. All right, then I'm all
Sorry.
set. I'll hold my question till the next one. Yep,
All set.
all right. Motion?
It's to continue for them to get the plan a little more
Main-
finalized.
You want to do May 9th?
Please.
Okay, motion,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's
You guys
unanimous.
are just too quick, I can't keep up. Hopefully Meryl can.
They're fast. Next one is NACC number 208, Regency Place, Lot 8.
So this lot is a little farther along. It is currently being worked on. The no disturb wall is in place. And
The
again,
erosion controls are set, and they
Yep.
just started framing the single-family dwelling. this week.
Yeah, and so it now has a pool on it well outside of jurisdiction, although, again, some of the finer details of the plan are missing as far as walkways and again, in the front yard, you know, it's more likely that some of that stuff, since the 100 cuts right through the corner of the house there, that there might be more things in there.
Okay.
And the prior plan showed the stockpile area back where the pool is, so with very little, I'm assuming you're gonna stockpile in the front of the house, but
I can show that on the plan.
yeah, I think they should know where that is. There also is, just some,
Resource areas in the backyard and the side yard here, right?
Correct.
So the stockpile in the front, you just gotta be careful, because the roadway country drainage is already installed, right?
no, that's part of what is being filed for on this, is that 10-foot wide drainage easement.
They have not built that yet.
No, and you'll see that it goes on to the adjacent lot as well. This has an NACC number because the wetlands are both isolated wetlands that are the jurisdictional.
So they're gonna be building this, so the stockpiles for what? For the, you said they've already started framing, so what more needs to be stockpiled? Is it just loom for the top, for redressing the lot
In the
Right,
pool construction.
in the pool,
and the pool?
correct. The pool's outside the buffer zone, but I can still show the stockpile on the plan. That's not a problem.
So the caution is that, you know, even that stockpile does need to be protected. So what are you gonna be doing in sequence? You can be doing the drainage at the very end of all of
Correct,
this?
so once the driveway, well, before the driveway gets installed, they'll put the culvert in and then do the cross-country swales for the lots.
Okay, as part of the final landscape, let's say.
Right.
All right, I'm okay with the stockpile and how that interacts. I'm all set.
No questions, sir?
Does this one already have a construction entrance? I think
Yes.
it did, yeah.
Looking.
Overwhelmed me today.
75 by 30. It's a good pool.
I saw the plan today, and I was just overwhelmed by the pool. That is a pool,
It looks like fun, though.
75 by 30, my God. Aside from that, I don't have any questions.
Is that including the patio, or
Can I just,
What?
it must,
does the
right?
pool require a waiver?
Not of our
No, that's what I'm asking. I just note that it's 24 feet from the
property line.
property line. It's not a problem for us on the flags, right?
Yeah, see where the wetland is way off the property at the back there?
Okay, I got it now. Oh, yeah, all right.
That's a 100-foot buffer
Yeah.
way back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The buffer to the isolated wetland is at that wall is the 25, where it says wall as required by Concom.
I'm looking, Jen.
It's down below the driveway.
Okay, gotcha. All right, yep.
Just a quick question. Now you have the 24. Would that be considered the side setback or the rear setback?
Looks like rear.
Rear.
Because don't we have a 30-foot, I mean, I know that's a zoning issue, but don't we have a
It
30-foot?
depends on where you are.
Yeah, it
Really?
does, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I get 30 feet on my street, but one street over, they have 15.
Really?
Yeah.
On the rear?
Yeah.
Really?
It depends, it's all based on zoning district, yeah.
Yeah, because where I am, it's 30 in the front, 30 in the back, and 15 on either side. Okay.
Merrill?
It has nothing to do with us anyways, but,
No, I was just trying to. I'm good.
It's usually always
I'm
30
good.
in the back,
okay.
Well, Merrill says a lot of them are 30, so we can check on that.
30 in the rear.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's their diligence to check with zoning. Hate to approve this project and zoning throw it out. Because you can't move that pool anywhere.
Might be good to double check that.
I'll check
Yeah,
that.
because you couldn't even move it to, you couldn't even move it to 6 feet that you need.
Right.
Okay. So what are we doing with this one, Jen? Can we approve this or
I think-
continue?
Well, if you want the stockpile area on the plan, I mean, all of these I'm gonna write to issue at the next meeting anyway, so it's sort of a, you're gonna get me a revised plan, I'm gonna reference it, and we'll close them all at the next
Okay.
time around.
So request and continue.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
It is 30. Okay, okay. So they might wanna move that pool a little.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be, that pool will be an issue. Okay, next one is PCOC request for 1806 Salem Street.
Is that the next one? No.
Oh, we just did Regis, right?
We just did Regency Place.
We should be on 193 Foster.
Oh, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong one, I'm sorry. Yeah, the enforcement, I didn't see that. 193 Foster Street enforcement order.
So, I have some. There is a prior filing on this lot as well, back from 2000. That prior plan doesn't show anything in the, I'm sorry, these are successive. So this was an EO issued for construction of a deck. The homeowners are new. They weren't aware of a lot of things, I think including some property lines, which it looks like this is off their property, but I think you've had a survey and it's on.
It's in, yeah.
Prior to building this, there was a patio there. I don't think the patio was approved either. That appears on aerial photos sometime in 2005, I think. And it isn't on the septic plan, that, I think they have a copy of the septic plan, right, in their package. So it is a violation. They've had the wetland flagged. It just happened. I haven't had time to review it yet. They had the property surveyed, but the wetland delineation didn't wind up on the survey plan, and I think we're gonna need that because the old delineation and your delineation don't seem to match. Either the delineation's different, that's possible, or the distances aren't right. So one or the other, we have to confirm. But needless to say, they've done what we required of them, which was to get the wetland flagged and get a plan together. And so that's what's in front of you this evening, and we
Can I-
discuss,
Yeah.
and address them.
Oh, sure. Hi, everybody. I don't know if this is a technicality or not, but all we did was replace the retaining wall that was there and then put a pergola on top, so I don't know if that constitutes building a deck or...
There's a structure, a new wooden structure now on top of whatever was
Was there.
underneath,
Yeah.
right? So there was some kind of patio with, must have been a wall around it.
Yeah.
I don't know what was there before, it's all been behind a fence for many years. If any, driving down Forest Street, you couldn't really see what was over there.
Is there a fence?
Or is it below grade? Whatever it is, whatever's
Yeah.
there now is much higher, and, again, just driving by the building, and inspector and I were both like, that looks new, we had never seen it before, so it's now above grade where you can see it, and that brought it to our attention, and it didn't have a permit with building, and obviously didn't have a permit with us.
So, some of our forensic work that we do after we discover it, we go in and we look at the archive of aerial photography that exists across the entire Commonwealth, but, some communities have more detailed information for a longer period of time, and Northampton was one of those. So we're able to look, and you might, Judd's probably already shown you, that over time, this property, but a lot of properties evolve.
Sure.
Things get changed around a little bit, and sometimes those cause an issue. So, it's, step one is, let's find out what we have, and then get you to a meeting, which I think is what all we're trying to get to tonight, right?
Right.
So they have delineated a line. Have you verified that line?
No, that's what I was saying, is I
So,
have not been
not
out
yet.
there.
All right. So I think, just for the record, you know, we're aware of the situation, the investigation will continue. I think it sounds like many of those alterations might have happened before you guys owned it,
Yeah, we've only been there for 2 years now.
and then, you know, and then maybe a couple of them or some, you know, maybe at least one of them happened since you've been there.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
When we got inspected, the inspector said that we had to replace the retaining wall for safety reasons, so,
During your home inspection.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I just
understood.
did it. And,
So,
yeah.
So really, until we get something tangible with a verified line and understand exactly what we have and who's responsible, yeah, I appreciate you taking it this far, but it's gonna continue a little bit longer. I'm all set.
So, Mr. Chairman, some quick history. I've been watching, I live on Foster Street.
Yeah, we,
I've seen this house for a long time. This was originally owned by Earl and Beatrice Foster, and it was originally part of the Rocky Knoll Farm project, which the Fosters owned for about 160 years.
yeah.
And this used to be known in the neighborhood as Beatrice's Yellow Cottage. And Beatrice Foster used to care for this cottage, and she let friends and family stay there. And then when the Fosters passed away and the town bought the property, this was sold off, this was carved out and sold off, which is how you guys have it now. But that's the history behind it. It has evolved. At one time, it was literally just a cottage with no heat and used in the summertime. And it's evolved into a full-time house. But it's an interesting place. I've been watching. I fly by on my tractor all the time. You've probably seen me in the last couple of days. And so anyway, hello. How are you? And that's it. Nothing else.
Oh,
Just a history lesson.
Thank you, Al.
Oh, sure.
That was very interesting. No questions.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Seeming old and looking old. I'm not sure which is worse.
So at this point, I will go out and confirm the wetland line, and we can discuss the distance. There is the possibility that it is in the no-build zone, though, which is something we can discuss at another meeting.
We can talk about it again.
As part of this process too, there's new homeowners, new young homeowners in general, enlightened to the importance of the line and what that means, what it means, what we're going through now, and moreover, what you can do in the future too. They always be aware of that line's out there and what it means.
Right.
So that could make you shift your planning ideas in a different direction before they become problems.
yeah, well, certainly this has been very expensive thus far, so.
Yep, thank you.
Doug, any questions? So what do you want to do with this?
We'll continue one way or the other. If the hard part for me is if I go out and I confirm the wetland line and it's closer or farther, you know, this is the photo from 2001. You can see there's no patio out there. You know, if it does wind up being the 47 feet away and there is an existing patio and retaining wall underneath, you know, are they going to be able to keep it? And if they're able to keep it, there's probably needs to be mitigation to allow it to stay. So I guess it's going to require at least another.
It's not hypothesize, let's figure it out.
Right, so I guess the thing would be to continue the enforcement order for another 2 weeks. We get the situation on the ground, I can report back on that, and then we decide, you know, whether to continue under the enforcement order or to require after-the-fact permitting.
So they need a delineation.
They already have it.
They already
It just,
have
it got done so recently, I haven't had time to get out there to review
So 2
it.
weeks will do it then?
I think so. Would you be able to come back in 2 weeks to discuss what we find when I come out to visit?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we need a motion to continue.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. See you in two. See you in two.
And I think it was Al's wife who told me she got to meet you.
What's that?
Your wife got to meet the couple.
She ran over baby classes.
I might have known.
Yeah. Supposed to help you guys with your cell phone service.
We already,
Next one is, now we're moving
he's
down.
not in the butter.
Next one is 24255, 1806 Salem Street.
I have next matter as 242-1588, request for certificate of compliance. Is that
That's the one that we have to sign. I just have 242-55 PCOC request.
There's one before that.
Yeah, that one's coming up, but that's
Oh,
not
we have
the,
another Regency?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the one right
Regency.
before it.
Oh, well, I got my cheat sheet here and I can't see them. We make big stars.
What do you want to know?
No, we have the last one, 242-1588 Regency Place.
so this originally started off with Norris requesting a PCOC for the applicant, but I think we've established in a couple other projects that it doesn't make sense to give it a PCOC when we're gonna open new orders for construction of lots. We've done it in the past that we've closed out everything that's been completed and then permitted the work that's not completed. I guess we could do it the other way and issue a PCOC. But needless to say, there's a few things that needed to be added to the plan regardless of,
What does the applicant want to do?
I think they'd rather see it closed out.
I'd rather get a full certificate if that's possible. It's just cleaner with the paperwork and pulling the deeds. I originally filed a partial because I just kind of thought that's how the commission went through a process like this until Jen informed me that you do allow full certificates, so.
The drainage is complete, except for that swale that goes under that last driveway on Lot 8. Both detention basins are constructed, functioning, and
The binder course for the roadways and the catch basins are in. Which I would say 90% of the work is complete except for the drainage swales for the lots that are not finished yet.
I mean, we could issue a PCOC for the work that's on the plan, and then, they'd have to come back for the full and final.
Well,
Looking back to the prior two discussions on Regency, though drainage swales are within easements on the individual lots and permitted under those lots, they're necessitated by the roadway itself. So because they couldn't fit in within the layout of the cul-de-sac in the back of the ownership right-of-way layout, they were forced to put them on the private lots under easement. So these drainage elements are actually part of the subdivision. So I don't think it's eligible for PCOC or a COC.
Well, they could always get a PCOC for the elements that are completed.
With the exception of, but the elements of these drainage features were part of the subdivision approval. They just couldn't fit them within the right-of-way.
Right, I guess what I was saying is they're now re-permitted as part of, this is country drainage, so this isn't, these aren't tied into the detention basins.
They do eventually. They do eventually, sure they do.
Oh, the one on Lot 8 does?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
just
the country
swells.
drainage picking
Oh,
up the
right,
whole
'cause it
shoulder and
flows
then
into-
working. So it's
yeah.
part of the subdivision.
Oh, sorry.
I think it confuses the matter by separating it and saddling the individual lot owner when it really is in fact part of the developer's responsibility of the roadway. And by putting it on Lot 10 itself, that jurisdiction responsibility conveys to that lot owner.
So do you want them just to re-permit the work that they need to do and let this just hang out there until the end?
I have to think about how, I can only imagine, I don't know, is there a homeowners association out here?
There
Is
will
it
be
going to be a public?
eventually.
It's going to be accepted way, right?
Sure. I believe so, yes.
All right, so the
But there are-
responsibility for finally accepting and taking on the responsibility of maintaining those drainage, even though they're on private property, will be the town's.
No, so there are, they won't be. The town,
The town making a public way then?
there's something in the planning board,
They'll approve it.
the drainage is going to be in a homeowners association. I think that's in the planning board decision, because two of the basins are on the back of lots, and I know that those are it says something in the decision that they're the responsibility of the
It's
homeowners.
probably a technicality, but I want to make sure we dot our i's and cross our t's very carefully, that whatever we've just done on Lot 6 and Lot 8 are consistent with responsibility for perpetual care and custody of those drainage facilities in the future, consistent with the original subdivision language. I don't want to saddle the individual lot owner by virtue of this new order. See where I'm going with that?
We had one of these before. Oh, that was when, before Minicucci built those houses at the Riding Academy. That was the same issue.
The individual lots.
Yes.
Yeah, out on Campbell?
They were rain, off of
Berry.
Campbell, off of Campbell
Right when they
Road.
come together, yeah.
Yeah, Campbell Road to Berry Street.
Yeah.
And that was the same issue.
It was.
It was.
That's right.
So, and we denied it.
So information was presented on individual lot development to address stormwater management design and lot development feasibility. Now that's regarding new. Here's the O&M plan, hold on. So, sorry. So, any? It is assumed that the homeowners will mow and maintain the grass swales in front of their homes as part of their normal lawn maintenance, that the owners of Lot 3 and 4 will mow and maintain the infiltration basins as part of their normal lawn maintenance.
Yeah, but that's being for, that's not the other side.
No, those are the basins. The swales are all the
The
others.
swales and the
They're everywhere
basins
else.
are the responsibility of the homeowners.
So that's already in the original order.
Yes,
So
in our
deal-
original order.
So by permitting them within what we just previously did is consistent with that.
Right, although we haven't actually done it.
But that's what's shown
We
on
would
that plan.
condition it the same way. We wouldn't let
Okay.
them.
So but the necessity of those drainage facilities it was part of the subdivision. We don't need to do this tonight. If
Right, we can
does
look
this
into
order
it further.
expire before, at
May 8th, it expires.
the day before our next meeting?
Okay.
Shoot.
Upon completion of the project, the owner of the lot and any successors will be responsible for the operation and maintenance of the trench on Lot 8. That was added because the Lot 8 was added, it was an amendment when they extended this cul-de-sac to include more lots. Well, one of the things that's not done, so whether we granted a PCOC or a COC, is maintenance of the drainage system. I don't have evidence of that. So it needs to continue anyway. I guess I just want to get your guidance now that we've had this discussion on how you want to proceed. Do you not want to address the COC at all at this time and just issue new orders?
So I didn't know the answer. I mean, I was raising the question of consistency. It seems it's consistent.
That we've done this
Yeah,
before, yes.
it seems that it is consistent. So I think we're okay for that perspective. And all of the lots are now under construction. So any of these drainage facilities, the intention is, since they're under construction, they'll get finished.
Right.
You know, whether we issue a certificate of compliance or a partial or not, these homeowners will want to get them finished.
Right.
Guess I'm okay with that.
With what?
With the direction we're going. We could issue a partial or full compliance when the time is right, once Jen gets what she needs, without worrying about the drainage issue.
So what we should be talking about is what portions of the project qualify for a PCOC.
Right.
That's what we should be talking.
Well,
Right.
we could have that, we could continue till the next meeting. She has to come here anyways.
Am I missing something in this whole discussion? Thing is, these are projects that were permitted. The order of condition runs out next month.
Correct.
This order been extended,
Correct.
Twice.
and it can't be extended any further.
Correct.
You're not missing
You
anything.
got a slow contractor.
Well, I think he started this
all about
construction
the
when he
money.
was finishing Mollytown.
Town.
And
And let's spend more of their money instead. You got to refile all over again. And fine them for not finishing the work on time.
Well, the work is about 85% complete. at this point. Other than the 2 lots that I brought in front of you, the binder course is in, the catch basins are in, all of the cross-country drainage is in that can be in, except for the lots that I filed for.
How
The
long has the binder been
utilities
done?
are in.
How long has the binder been
Oh,
done?
years.
Yeah, that was one of the first things.
And it's not topped.
Right.
That's exactly my point. So what if, prior to topping, the town's inspector goes out there and says, this binder's raveled, it's been through 5 winters, it has no structural capability anymore, rip it up and do it again. Suddenly you're not 85% done. If you're not topped, and you've got 3 or 4 or 5 years worth of binder done, it's junk. Louis, you're the favor. Chances are it's junk.
Well, the thing of it is that it's not done. So issuing a,
Well, I
that's
can-
why I asked you if the roadway and the house lots were separate.
No.
They're not.
I can certainly come back at another time when it is done.
I don't think we have to issue the PCOC or the COC. We've permitted what needs to continue for lot development, and that's all that really matters out there.
Right.
Understood.
But the rest of the construction activity to take that final 15% to get it done would be done without a permit. They'd be beyond, it. They'd be
That's
working
what's
with
gonna
it.
happen, is that final 15% is gonna be done without a permit.
They just presented to you the work that's not complete that's in your jurisdiction.
Sure. And they run out in 2 weeks.
Right. And so we're going to have
they're applying
re-permitted
for a
that
new
work.
order of
Say it again.
conditions.
We're going to have issued 2 new orders of conditions for the work that's not complete.
Okay.
I don't
So
view
they would
application of
Cover everything that's not done
top
in the
coat.
new
If you
orders.
did need to redig up the whole road, then they would have to apply to redo that. But at this point, putting a top coat on that road, in my opinion, is not something they need a permit for. The-
Provided, as Joe pointed out, provided that the
That
base coat's acceptable to the road agent.
Yep.
You're making an assumption you don't know yet.
Again, if that's the case and they needed to do that, they'd have to come back and permit that activity as well. They don't have a permit for it.
The end result's the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Whether we grant it or don't grant it,
Right.
it's the same
well,
thing.
let me ask the question. What you're looking for is bond money to be returned at the end of the day, right?
No,
No,
actually.
it was actually suggested that I file a certificate of compliance, so
was.
that it wouldn't have multiple open orders.
Gotcha. I got
We
you.
did it, granted, Mollytown had a top coat on it. I would think there were 2 lots at the top of the cul-de-sac that weren't completed, and we did pretty much what we're doing now. The road had a top coat on it. The only thing that Mollytown didn't have was uncompleted lots outside of jurisdiction. There are still some of those.
So what portion of this qualifies for a partial? What portion qualifies?
The 2 basins at the entrance, the roadway layout where it's constructed is consistent. There was very little jurisdiction.
I mean, I think if you're recommending a partial, we better be very specific about what it is that's partial. I think it's
Or-
got to be spelled out. You
I
can't
think, as
just
Joe just
issue a
said
blanket
too,
partial.
it's fine just to leave it open. They don't have to close it out. There's no, we were just trying to button up loose ends.
Join the club of expired
Orders of
orders of
condition.
condition that don't have compliance. And in this instance, we still have the other 2 lots.
And we could tie,
Under condition
we
to-
could
to
tie
deal
that
with
COC into those orders of conditions, saying that when they're completed, a full and final from DEP file number, whatever this is, 1588, will be required as well.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of issuing
Yeah,
PCCs or COCs.
And I see no need for it either, so I think we're okay.
Okay. Well, you'll have filed, you'll just,
Okay.
we'll hold, I mean, we can hold the request until this is ready. 'Cause
Or
I'm
I can
assuming it's
withdraw it if that's easier too.
whichever way you'd like to go.
I just didn't want it to appear like we were scolding the applicant for doing what we normally ask them to do, which is clean up the numbers.
Right. That's what I was trying to make sure they were doing, but I can see where this one isn't as far along as some of the others where we've
Okay.
done this.
All right. Okay. No more questions.
As long as you're gonna issue new orders with this one still open. If that's the case, then I think we're fine.
Sounds like
So to get this thing
sounds
to
like we
deal
got
with
it.
from an agenda perspective, my suggestion would be to
Withdraw it.
withdraw without prejudice.
Okay. And then
And then
we'll just hold
refile.
your filing fee until we'll make a note in the file.
That works.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 more commissions. Do you have any more questions, Deb? Back to you? No, okay.
So that's
we
a
have
formal
motion
request to withdraw, Maureen?
Withdraw without
Yes,
prejudice.
like
So-
to request to withdraw.
So the first motion is to allow the applicant to withdraw without prejudice. I'll move that. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
What else, do we need a continuance, or is it just
No,
gonna?
that's,
That's it?
they'll bring it back when they're done. But I will condition the other orders to tie them to this
Refer
program.
it, yeah.
Okay, all right, all right.
Thank you.
I got you, thank you.
Sorry, bad guidance.
All right.
All right, now the one that I've been trying to get to is 24255, 1806. That's just a signature, right?
Right, so at the last meeting, I had asked, we discussed the Crossbow Pond. As it turns out, at one point, remember how you were saying there are a lot of lots? Somebody did own that entire parcel from Salem Street all the way to what was Ingalls. That became separate at 24278, the subsequent filing that created a pond lot and the Ingalls lot, which no longer included the Salem Street lots, so somebody did parcel these off. So this is just granting him the PCOC from 55, which did include Salem Street at some point.
No questions?
Yep. Doug?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. And 209 Vest Way, resigning of previous issue documents, re-signing, not resigning,
Re-signing.
re-signing.
So you had asked at the last meeting, Merrill confirmed that these lots are, these PCOCs that you are signing are the originals dated with your original vote back some time ago. So you're just getting them out of the file and into the recording world. So there, I don't think there's any need to revote them. You already issued them. You're just going to sign them.
You're right.
Did you say you're here for something that hasn't been heard?
No, they were in a butter for forestry.
Oh, okay. I was like, did we miss something?
I told you, we get the best ratings of any board in
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
This is proof right here.
You're welcome to stay, but the Red Sox and the Birds are on.
We got the highest ratings. That's what our producer tells us every weekend.
All right,
Okay.
So that, we just have to sign, we can sign that after we do the decisions,
Yep.
correct?
So in your packets, I had applied for a forest management plan grant. So to get there was a forest management plan for the Marjorie Kittredge property out on Windrush or on Lacey Street many, many years ago. The folks at Windrush at some point had asked me to do what we had done for Osgood Hill and get a plan for this property to talk about, what might make sense for forest management out there. Of course, when you go from a private property owner to a public entity, the purposes of the plan changed, and so the purposes that the plan was designed around now are those for which the property was purchased for, which is the conservation values, the recreational values, the habitat values. To that extent, those things are sort of addressed first. There are things we can do to improve habitat. I think there's a recommendation for wood duck boxes in there. There are some recreational, some trail marking and boundary marking recommendations. I guess logging over the years has produced an uneven aged forest out there, which is what you want. But there are some recommendations in there for future forest management. There is an Atlantic white cedar, which is a threatened species on the property, so there's some talk about maintaining that stand and its viability. So generally, Jack has headed the Windrush Farm Steering Committee, which hasn't met in some time, so I think I need your approval of the plan, and then I will be able to get the reimbursement for the forester's work. And then we'll move forward in taking it to that steering committee and seeing what their input might be.
Any questions, Joe?
Excellent work.
Yeah.
Al?
Nope, very, very happy to see this.
Is
No
it,
questions.
Jen, is this place for rent in the summertime?
Scouts use it, I believe,
I
is
was
what.
just gonna say, that's a
We
scouting cabin.
technically own it now, but
Scouting chateau.
I
It is. It's a
think
chateau for
Windrush has
scouts,
their
yeah.
trail license, and they do use it for some of their programs and things.
Okay, Deb?
No question.
Sure, no questions. Motion?
What do you want? What do you want the motion to say?
To vote to accept as drafted and
Done.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. And, where am I here? So all we have is decisions.
We have 3 decisions, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
while you're shifting gears, just, I don't know if anybody gets the Andovers magazine at home. The two of the Eagle Scouts from Troop 82 who worked on a project, one of the feature articles in it this month.
Oh, really?
Kind of nice, yeah.
I'll have to see if we can get a copy.
That door, that door.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Good night.
You're welcome.
Okay, which one you want to do first? 242-1730? It's right on top.
Okay.
Does that work?
So this was for the Keolis culvert replacement. It's a WPA filing only.
Favorite.
And Joe, you'll be happy to know, condition 33 is a standard condition requiring that this document shall be included in all construction contracts. I think you questioned them, but that's standard in all of our orders. Thanks for pointing it out. I'll be sure to point it out to everyone at this point who doesn't do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. Don't try to make me feel good about it.
They specified an 8-inch
Trap rock?
silt sock.
Also, yeah.
I don't think,
do
not
they
for
make
this
'em?
kind of work. I think we always require minimum 12, so that's sort of the only plan change I made. We don't want them to, there's no need, they have a long track out to the end of, is it Clark Street at that point, down where integrated paper is?
Yep.
You know, do we want them to put any kind of track pad? Didn't they say they were gonna access by the tracks?
They do, they
Bring the,
they take the road vehicle up to the track, straddle the track, and then they do it all from the rail bed. That's what they said.
okay, but they're gonna track in and out on that very muddy dirt road. Do we wanna require them?
Up to the track.
Right, so where that access is at Clark Street, do we want it, a track pad there?
The end of Clark, is that down where it gets backs into back into the Luzon property?
No, integrated paper, and across the street is the old Solo Cup
Oh, I wouldn't
facility.
use that, I wouldn't improve that any more than necessary because people use that as an
Well, what I'm
access.
saying is, we couldn't even get a vehicle down there, it was that muddy. I'm just saying,
Get killed.
just for construction purposes only, where the road, like a 20-foot track pad, just for what they take in and out of there?
Well, here's the problem. If anything we do to help the construction is good, once we're done, as Lou will tell you, we're gonna create a whole new illegal dump for everybody in 3 towns.
And we had-
There's
They
already a
have
huge.
to take it out at the end.
They're gonna have to get it out and disable the road.
Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
we had a.
No,
we had a-
I don't want them putting a road the whole way down. That's not my intention. Just so when they're tracking in and out of there.
Yeah, I got it.
That there's some place that they can,
I get it, I just
Dump
don't
some
wanna,
sediment.
I don't wanna see an improved road in there after.
No, 'cause
well, we could just
We
make
do
sure
the
they.
same thing with the power company when they're going up we make them do that
Okay.
in the tracking across mud, we do. So I think it's a fair statement,
And then remove at the end of
and
construction.
remove it at the end.
Remove, please, and
Gotcha.
don't create a new 4-wheel road.
Okay.
Maybe you dig a hole.
I'm gonna get rid of the no
Prevent
dumping
Yeah,
of
you gotta.
leaves, grass clippings and whatnot, because
Pipes.
that's not gonna,
That's not him, that's not them, that's.
so that,
private
those are my
people.
only changes.
Any questions? Motion? Oh, sorry.
None.
I have none.
Okay, motion?
Move that we adopt as amended.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous. Next one is 242-1731, which would be,
60 Deer Meadow.
there you go.
This is the giant boulder wall on the back side of the property. The only special condition, I put a bond of 1,500 on this. I don't view it as being overly,
How are you referring to those erosion controls?
so remember,
The big round hay bale stood on it, like,
I put it in there just as they stated it.
How did they state it? I missed it.
you know, the rolled hay bales?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
get stand up,
you mean the roundies?
Yeah.
That weigh 2,500 pounds per?
Oh, actually.
gonna work.
I put, I have to update condition 45 with those, because they do propose for the rest of the project, mulch sock backed by siltation fence, but when they're pouring the boulders down the slope, they did say that they were gonna put the big roundies down there to keep anything from rolling on into the wetland.
You know,
Not-
and that's a great idea, just, you know, I'm here to tell you, getting those roundies out is gonna be
So they're gonna break them up, and use them as stabilization mulch.
I mean, that's
That's
really,
what he
Probably
said.
on the
That's what he
bigger
said,
slope,
right?
yeah.
that makes sense, yeah, okay, got it. That makes perfect sense.
All right, and then on condition 56, we talked about the geotechnical engineer, and it just says, I just referenced the plan note that talks about at what point the geotech will provide his services, and that we would get a report of any findings. Wetland markers, we talked about those on the
They're
trees.
starting to lose their deck already.
Say it again,
They're starting to lose the deck already.
already?
But otherwise,
Already.
Already.
Well, the
When did they do this
slope is
project?
moving and it's falling down.
Yeah, a lot of water, right?
Yeah. I don't know how it's, it shouldn't, how shouldn't, we ain't gonna go there.
Good.
okay.
So moved.
All right, any questions? Motion? And a second.
Second.
We got Joe and Al. Al and Joe.
Al and Joe.
Excuse me. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.
Merrill, you got that, right?
Merrill doesn't see the finger pointing. We have
He
to-
just
got that.
hands that
Figured it out
computer.
loud.
Took Deb right out of that.
Yeah.
And last one is NACC number 207.
207. That's pretty straightforward.
This is the local jurisdiction only. This puts a 25 and a 50 on an old house that never really had one, requires some posts and markers out there, or bluebird boxes as they see fit.
There's no hiding.
1,500 is the bond. They're using hay bales and silt fence, which is fine. Condition 69 is a post-construction condition, requires them to remove trash and debris from the wetland and no disturb, which I'm sure they'll want to do anyway. That's pretty much it.
Any questions? Motion?
So
Make-
moved. So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, and that's unanimous. That's it for decisions. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that's unanimous.